Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopidana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Swami Bhakti Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Guru Parampara ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagwatam ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, all glories to the some devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. You don't have any scheduled verse as such for this morning, right? So we'll read something from the first canto of Srimad Bhagwatam. Om Gyantiram Saganam Samakaya Chakshuram Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavisham Sthapitam Yena Swayam Rupa Padamaya Dharati Swahantikam Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Yevishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Dharma Kirema Guru Nirmaya Kshatriya Dhamushpurusha Vante Ganan Sadasa Sadasatmaka Yam Krishishta Bhagavan Vachansime Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. So we will be reading today the first canto of Srimad Bhagwatam, chapter 15. Pandavas retire timely. There is a very nice verse by Sri Arjuna, which is glorifying his receiving instructions from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's instructions. So this is text 28, 115:28. Sutavacha, Sutavacha, Evam Chintayato Jishno, Evam Chintayato Jishno, Krishna Pada Saroruham, Krishna Pada Saroruham, Savardena Tigathena, Savardena Tigathena, Shantasit Vimalamati, Shantasit Vimalamati, Sutovacha, Evam Chintayato Jishno, Krishna Pada Saroruham, Savardena Tigathena, Shantasit Vimalamati, Sutovacha, Sutta Goswami said, Evam, thus, Chintayata, while thinking of the instructions, Vishnu, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna Pada, the feet of Krishna, Saroruham, resembling lotuses, Sauhardena, by deep friendship, Atigadhena, in great intimacy, Shanta, pacified, Asit, it so became, Vimala, without any tinge of material contamination, Bhakti, mind. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sutta Goswami said, thus being deeply absorbed in thinking of the instructions of the Lord, which were imparted in the great intimacy of friendship, and in thinking of his lotus feet, Arjuna's mind became pacified and free from all material contamination. Purport: since the Lord is absolute, deep meditation upon him is as good as yogic trance. The Lord is non-different from his name, form, quality, pastimes, and origin, specific actions. Arjuna began to think of the Lord's instructions to him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Only those instructions began to eliminate the tinges of material contamination. in the mind of Arjuna. The Lord is like the sun. The sun's appearance means immediate dissipation of darkness or ignorance, and the Lord's appearance within the mind of the devotee can at once drive away the miserable material effects. Lord Chaitanya has therefore recommended constant chanting of the name of the Lord for protection from all contamination of the material world. The feeling of separation from the Lord is undoubtedly painful to the devotee, but because it is connection with the Lord, it has a specific transcendental effect which pacifies the heart. Feelings of separation are also sources of transcendental bliss, and they are never comparable to contaminated material feelings of separation. Suto vachayvam chintayatu Jishno Krishna pada saroruham savardena tigadhena shantasit vimala mati. Sutta Swami said, thus being deeply absorbed in thinking of the instructions of the Lord, which were imparted in the great intimacy of friendship and in thinking of his lotus feet, Arjuna's mind became pacified and free from all material contamination. Hare Krishna. So, the request for this morning was to speak of complacency and what to do with complacency in Krishna consciousness. So there is one verse in Bhagavad Gita which deals with this topic, and I was thinking we should read that verse, but because morning is Bhagwatam time, so I was thinking we should read about Bhagavad Gita from Bhagwatam and Arjuna's situation. And then, because Arjuna was also in the same position, right? He was also complacent. Complacent about what? Huh? Fighting. He was complacent about fighting. And there is one very nice verse in Bhagavad Gita. And this verse is speaking about material contamination. So complacency being one type of material contamination, which comes from very popular mode of nature. Which one? So tamasima, jyotigama. That if we want to advance spiritually, we have to get out of tamas. And this verse is defined by Srila Prabhupada in the purport as the purpose verse of Bhagavad Gita. Which one is that? Anyone knows? Huh? 3:30, very good. Yes, 3:30. Very important verse. Unfortunately, not too often quoted. But Prabhupada says this verse defines the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita. This is what he says in his commentary. Which one is that? Mayi sarvani karmani sadhyasadhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvara. How many of you know this? Sevaswarup knows this by heart. Anyone else knows this verse by heart? Okay. Few. Very good. So let's repeat this verse. Mayi sarvani karmani Sanyas adhyatma chetasaha Nirashir nirmamo bhutva Yudhyasva vigatajvaraha. So what is the meaning of this verse? Mai sarvani karmani. All activities should be dedicated unto me, Krishna says. So we should dedicate all our activities to Krishna. Sannyas adhyatma cetasa. Sannyas, we have to give up everything unrelated to pleasing Krishna, and adhyatma chetas, fully understand everything about Krishna. Develop our understanding of Krishna. And nirashe. Asha means, in this case, material desire. Nirasha means hopeless. Devotee should become hopeless, right? About material happiness. So nirashe. And nirmama. Nothing is mine, right? So nirashe, nirmama bhutva, that you become free from all selfish motivations, right? And then yudhyasva. What is yudhyasva?
Fight.
Yes, fight. Vigata jvara.
This fever.
Lethargy, fever or lethargic mentality. So, complacency falls into that, right? A very interesting verse. If you analyze it minutely, there are 4 modes. One is Shuddha Sattva, another one is Sattva, then another one is Rajas, and last one is Tamas. If you look each line, I mean, technically speaking, there are only 2 lines, 1 pada, 2 padas, right? Each verse of Bhagavad Gita is consisting of 2 padas, but it's written in 4 lines, right? I'm not sure in Hindi if it is written in 4 lines. Also, 4 lines? 2 lines, okay, so you're right. But, Roman transliteration gives half pada at a time. And each half of the pada, each line, in Roman transliteration at least, is dealing exactly with one of the modes. Right? Mai sarvani karmani, Shuddha Sattva. Sannyas adhyatma cetasa, Sattva. Nirashe. How systematic Lord's Bhagavad Gita. It's amazing. One devotee is also a PhD, and he is great lover of Bhagavad Gita, and he wrote one book in which he analyzed mathematical precision in Bhagavad Gita. Even up to the golden line going through Bhagavad Gita, all the verses and symmetry in Bhagavad Gita and whatnot. I mean, I'm not a scholar. It was very difficult for me to understand even half of it, what he wrote, but I was thinking this is mind-blowing. Because normally you perceive Bhagavad Gita as just a conversation, but to be spoken with such a mathematical precision, I mean, there is no surprise that Bhagavad Gita for the past almost 5,500 years attracts the minds of greatest thinkers in human society, right? And so, anyway, it's just a side point, but very powerful point, how amazing Bhagavad Gita is. And only God could speak something, could come up with something like that. And so this verse, which is very important verse, helps us to understand how do we deal with the modes of nature and its effects, how to become purified from these effects. As we've read in this verse from Bhagwatam, Arjuna's mind became pacified and free from all material contamination. So become pacified and purified. How do we become pacified and purified? By Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada would say that we're supposed to know Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is our ABC, right? Of spiritual knowledge. And sometimes we think, if Bhagavad Gita is ABC, I'm already far above that ABC, right? I already know ABC very well. But if you think about it, what does it mean to know ABC? How many letters are in alphabet? I mean, in English there are 28 letters. How many letters are in Hindi alphabet? 62? 52. So to know the language, to know ABC, means to know every letter by heart, right? So what does it mean to know that Bhagavad Gita is ABC? Yes, to know all 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita by heart. How many of you know all 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita by heart? Something to work on. Before we can claim, I'm above Bhagavad Gita level, we should know every single verse of Bhagavad Gita by heart. Then we can say, okay, I've passed my Bhagavad Gita, so I can advance to understand, Bhagwatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita or any other Vedic literature. So before that, we don't know Bhagavad Gita. And we should be studying Bhagavad Gita every single day. And so because Bhagavad Gita is giving universal solutions to every single root cause of all of our problems, right? And complacency is also addressed in Bhagavad Gita. Very powerful solution is given to the complacency. Anyone knows which verse is giving most powerful solution to complacency and all kinds of problems we might face in Krishna consciousness? Sarva dharma parityaja. There is another verse which is earlier, comes earlier, and it is actually elaborating on Sarva dharma parityaja. Mad manabhava mad bhakta. That's there, but there is one verse which is even earlier. I'll give you a hint. This verse helped Srila Prabhupada to overcome his despondency. Yes. 241. I mean, because this verse is totally historical to ISKCON. Without this verse, Srila Prabhupada would not do what he did, because this verse triggered his determination to go forward and do what he did. And if he would not do what he did, most likely Sanatana Dharma would be dead by now. Even though it's supposed to be pretty strong in Bharat, right? Statistically, amongst 1.5 billion population, how many lakhs are that? 1,000 lakhs? 1,000 lakhs? Yes? 10,000 lakhs. 1 million is 10 lakh. 1 billion is 10,000 lakhs. So amongst 10,000 lakhs of Bharat population, not 10,000, 15,000 lakhs. Between 6 and 7,000 lakhs are Vaishnavas. Can you believe that? More than a third of Bharatiyas are Vaishnavas, as per statistics. Of course, most of the Vaishnavas are South India, Ramanuj, Madhav, all this. So pretty powerful. Majority. Not majority, but pretty significant portion of Bharatiya population are all Vaishnavas. But if you check, most of them, Vaishnavas in name only, right? They don't practice anything, or hardly anything they practice. Maybe little traditional respect they maintain for Krishna. And hardly have any knowledge. And because people don't have any knowledge, they give up Sanatana Dharma in no time. I'll tell you one scary story. There is one very prominent guy, and he is running self-help company, promoting his courses. And he's Hindu. And his first name is Vishen, right? Vishen is also connected to Vishnu, right? And he was not born in Bharat, he was born in other country. But culturally, they maintained that respect for cow, being Hindus. And so mother would tell him from his childhood, because we're Hindus, we're not supposed to touch cow's flesh. But because he was surrounded by school friends, and he's telling this story to show how advanced he is. He says, all his school friends would tease him and would, joke about him not eating beef, not touching beef. And he would come to his mother and he would say, "Mother, why aren't we eating beef?" She said, "Oh, because we're Hindus, we're not supposed to eat beef." But okay, but why? What's the reason? Everybody is taking beef and we're not taking beef. She said, "I don't know. It's just cultural thing. We're not touching beef." And then he started thinking, why are we not touching beef? And then he comes back to his mother and he says, "I think we're not touching beef because we come from India, our ancestry comes from India, and in India, people had cows as their pets, as their domestic animals, right? And when, no one eats pets, right?" Mother said, "Yeah, this is correct. Most likely this is the reason." But he said, now we are not living in India, and cows are not our pets. Dogs and cats are our pets. Mother said, yeah, you are correct. So that means, because we are not living in India and cow is not our pet, we can eat cow. She said, looks like. Then I'm going to have big burger tomorrow. She said, okay, go ahead. And he's telling this story, and he's very prominent to millions of his followers, including many Hindus, to show how progressive and how advanced he is, that he gave up this superstition as he was thinking, right? And he started eating beef. And I wrote a letter to him that this is not the right reason that cow is pet or not pet. Cow is mother, and you're not supposed to eat your mother unless you are Rakshasa or something like that. Right? So this is what's happening. People come from the, they have right background, right culture, but because they are in ignorance, they give it up very quickly and embrace, demoniac culture. So that's why knowledge is really important. Otherwise, if you don't have proper knowledge, you can be very easily bewildered and manipulated by anyone, basically, right? In the same way as yesterday we discussed, if you don't have proper education, you are doomed to be controlled by those people who have higher education and higher knowledge, and you would have to depend on them, right? But if you have proper education, you have freedom, right? And you can judge for yourself, you can understand things for yourself. So if it is true in relation to material education, how much more true it is in relation to spiritual education, right? That's why it's really important. And I would think if Srila Prabhupada would not do this, would not turn Western people into Vaishnavas, would not actually prove the power of Bhakti to the whole world, and if he would not impress like that Bharatiya Vaishnavas, most likely Sanatana Dharma would be dead by now, right? And most likely, how many chances in the world would be, what to speak of someone like myself, but even for all of you, to gain proper spiritual knowledge? Very little, right? So we all owe it to Srila Prabhupada for rescuing Sanatana Dharma again. And he did what he did because of this verse. So let's chant it all together. Yavasayatmika buddhir ekeha guru nandana bahushakaryanantascha buddhayo vyavasainam. We have another mic. Bhakta mic is awake. So anyone wants to give us the translation, even if you want to elaborate on translation? Yes, Saraswati.
Resolute determination is one pointed, and uh, mm, and a multivariated thinking is not resolute determination.
Yeah. Two things. Krishna really likes contrasts, right? In Bhagavad Gita, he always uses that to explain something with contrasting one to the other. So, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi and Buddhayo Vyavasayana, these two things are shown. The difference between these two things are shown. So, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi means one-pointed intelligence, resolute intelligence, focused on goal-oriented intelligence. And Buddhaya Vyavasayanam, many-branched, right? Irresolute, lost intelligence, which has no purpose. And now the question for you is, try to guess. Complacency is a result of which of these two. Complacency is the result of which type of intelligence? Yeah. Vyavasayana. So, and how do you deal with Buddhaya Vyavasayana? Many-branched intelligence, which is lost intelligence, no aim, no goal, no purpose. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with hunger? How do you resolve hunger? By eating. So how do you resolve unresolved intelligence? By making it resolute. Many solutions are so simple we cannot even see them, right? So that's it. And yesterday we also spoke about the first and foremost thing which helps us to grow in our bhakti, utsaha, enthusiasm, right? And then very interesting, very powerful point. Actually, until I looked at it yesterday at Prabhupada's explanations, I never knew that all these, it was a discovery for me yesterday, that all these 6 items to help us to grow in our bhakti, utsaha, nishchaya, dharya, tantat karma, pravartana, sangha, tyaga, satovrite, all of them different types of enthusiasm. I could never think about it. It's only Prabhupada's revelation. So enthusiasm is so important that it manifests in different forms. Actually, anyone knows what is the origin of the English word enthusiasm? Where it's coming from, enthusiasm. No one knows? It is coming from Greek language. And it's combination of 2 words, 2 ancient Greek words. First is en. En means together with. And second one is theos. What is theos? Theology. Theos means God. Yes, together with God. Enthusiasm means together with God. Union with God. Yoga. Krishna yoga. This is the meaning of the word enthusiasm. Right? So if Krishna is inspiring you from inside, that's where enthusiasm is coming from. And now, how to make Krishna inspire you from inside? First of all, how many of you want to be always inspired by Krishna from within? Okay, so now the question is how? to achieve that? Huh? Tesham satata yuktanam, so that Krishna gives us intelligence, serving him with love, okay?
Same Krishna within is speaking outside in the form of Bhagavad Gita and Guru. So, Krishna outside speaking through Bhagavad Gita, so we can't hear from within, we can hear from without through Guru.
So follow the instructions, okay? Anyone else? Any ideas how to be inspired by Krishna from inside, from within? These were right answers, but we need to go deeper into this. For example, serving the instructions of Guru and Krishna, both of them are saying we should be serving with love. And Mukunda Lila Prabhu said, if you serve with love, then Krishna gives intelligence also. So now, the question is, what's the difference of serving with love and serving without love? So serving with love we may not have much experience of, but serving without love, we have good experience, right? Same like chanting very attentive rounds, we might have little experience, but chanting lousy rounds, we have plenty of experience. So let's start with that. What are the features of serving without love? How do you call serving without love? Huh? Inattentive? Mechanical? Yeah. Yeah, it's very good definition. Mechanical service. I mean, some of you have PhD in mechanics, right? Because Kali Yuga is mechanical age. Yes. Microphone.
Without gratitude, so there is no love.
Yeah, without gratitude, very good. So without gratitude, we'll deal with that. And mechanical. Kali Yuga means everything's mechanical. Now, next level is robotics, right? I'm praying not to live long enough to see robots replacing pujaris on the altar. Because the danger is pretty real. Because in some temples, in some ISKCON temples, they do struggle with manpower to do the pujari services. And so, I hope, against hope, that no one will be smart enough to think of this idea. Even though it seems to be a very practical solution. But many things in Kali Yuga, they seem to be practical solutions, but they lead to degradation. Right? Like in one conversation, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada was debating with one of his disciples about modern science and its advantages. And disciple said, Srila Prabhupada, modern science makes people's life so much easier. For example, they have invented tractor, and one tractor, one device and one man, they can do the work of 10 people.
Is it bad? Prabhupada said, of course bad. Because that means tractor replaced 10 people. One is driving the tractor. So 9 people pushed out of job. And what do they do with their spare time? Go to bar, go to nightclub, go to some place where they will degrade, drink, take drugs, because they are not engaged properly. So as a result of the invention, there is degradation, and it's interesting that every invention which apparently improves our lives leads to degradation. Any of you is noticing that the smarter your devices are, the more stupid you become. Sometimes it's scary. I mean, for a long time I was using my phone to take notes, until one day I had to write down something. And to my horror, I realized I forgot how to write. Because I would always type. You know, it's crazy how this smart technology, that's why it says that no artificial intelligence will ever be able to compete with natural stupidity. It's amazing, you know. The more intelligent, you know, the technology becomes, the more stupid people become. So that's horrible. So yeah, there are something which is called unintended consequences, and people, when they try to ignore Shastra, thinking that, you know, it's all impractical, outdated, and they use their own intelligence for, you know, achieving greater sense gratification. Basically, the entire science is meant only for one purpose only, right? To improve people's ability or capacity for what? For sense gratification. And what sense gratification is leading to? Degradation. That's all. Very simple. So it doesn't mean we are anti-scientific, but you know, it's another level of science, you know, which is to mind unintended consequences. And yes, some things might seem to be less practical, but they are meant, you know, because it's Krishna and his followers, they have another level of intelligence, and so these instructions are meant to protect us from degradation, which is a result of sense gratification. Anyway, it's a side point, but you know, we can understand by that why Srila Prabhupada was so much against modern science, right? Because it's killing people, literally. And he would say, who will stop those rascals from being overly smart? And yes, this point, Devavati Mataji, right? Devavati Mataji made about gratitude, that gratitude being a natural antidote for mechanical approach to bhakti, because mechanical approach is leading to nowhere, right? If you replace pujari with robotic pujari, what benefit robot will get? Robot cannot go back home, back to the bush. And by watching robot performing puja, you're not getting any spiritual benefit either. Right? So, yeah, then it might resemble bhakti, but there is zero bhakti in that, right? Like plastic fruit. Looks very nice, but gives no benefit. So something fake. So yes, and yeah, gratitude. Very important. Prabhupada says this is how we begin advance in Krishna consciousness, by gratitude. So attitude of gratitude, as some people are saying, is very important in our lives. And why do we need to be grateful?
Maharaj, because we are great fools.
Okay, not to be great fools, we should be grateful. If we are not grateful, then we are great fools. Any other reasons we should be grateful? To? Can you take microphone? Maybe someone can reduce the speed of this fan, otherwise I'll be blown off.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I said like if you want to be grateful, we should become humble also.
Okay, helps us to develop humility.
We receive something which by our own endeavor we could never get.
Okay. Most important thing, there are two types of people in this world. One is miserable and the other one is happy people. Which category you want to belong to? Happy people, okay. So, mind the difference between the two. Miserable people are those who are always thinking, what do I need to become happy? Always lacking something. Thinking of what I am lacking in my life to become happy. So that's the recipe for misery. If you want to be always miserable, just always think, what am I lacking in my life for happiness? And even if you get that, what you are lacking, there will still be something else which could make you even more happy, right? And then whatever you gained, you get used to it very quickly. Anyone's noticed that? You dream of something, and then you think, only if I would get that, I would be happy for life. And then you gain that thing, and your happiness is only lasting few hours. And then you become miserable again. False ego is digesting that very quickly. And somehow the more you gain, the more the power of your false ego digestion is increasing, consuming all these types of sense gratification. It's like drug addiction, right? The more, I hope none of you had this sad experience, but this is what's happening with drug addicts. They always need higher dose of drug to become, to enjoy. And at some point, no matter how much they shoot drugs, it doesn't work. You know why? Because that effect which drugs are giving is not produced by the drug, it's produced by the body. these, what do you call it, chemicals of happiness, dopamine, endorphin, etc. Adrenaline also, 5 I think, chemicals to produce happiness. So, yeah, oxytocin, etc. So what drug is doing, it's squeezing out those chemicals from the body. That's all the drug is doing. Drug is not bringing any pleasure from outside. It's squeezing the chemicals from inside of your body, and at some point you go totally dry. You ran out of those chemicals. And those chemicals are meant, for example, endorphin, right? It's meant to reduce your pain. If you are in pain, so, it's like money surplus in your bank, right? Once you ran out of money, you go to the reserve, right? And then reserve helps you to solve your financial problems. But if you always squeeze the reserve, at one point you run out of it and you have nothing to solve your problems with. So in the same way, this is what the drugs are doing, very sad situation. So it's just a very simple and clear, and then, that's why drug addicts, they have to go regularly through this, excruciating pain, which they cannot, there is no, for them, there is no, what they call it, painkillers. No painkiller is working on them, because they already ran out of these chemicals, totally. It's terrible, they just have to, basically whatever they enjoyed, they have to pay for it by unspoken misery. Unless and until body accumulates those chemicals again. It's terrible. So, anyway. And the same model, in little bit different ways, is working with other kinds of addictions, right? Shopping addiction, this addiction, so many addictions we might have, not only drug addiction. And those addictions, they only produce more misery for us. They don't, the kind of happiness they produce fades in comparison to the misery we will have to face later. So anyway, that's the recipe for misery. Desire to be happy, right? That's why what Prahlad Maharaj says, if you want to be happy, truly happy, you should stop trying to be happy. Well, and but most important thing, what is the recipe for happiness in life? Of course, Krishna consciousness, but that's the top level of happiness. But what's the fundamental level of happiness? Gratitude, right? So if you're grateful, so if miserable people always think, what am I lacking for being happy in my life, and trying to get that. Happy people are always thinking, how much do I already have because of which I'm happy? So if you think of happiness, you are happy. If you think of misery, even alleviating misery, you will always be miserable. Very simple thing. How many of you want to feel at least twice as happy as you feel now? Okay. So let's do this. Turn to the devotee next to you and explain at least 5 or 6 reasons of what you have in your life and what makes you happy. So at least tell each other at least 5 or 6 reasons of what you have already in your life for which you are grateful. What are you grateful for? 5 or 6 points at least. And you can tell whom you're grateful to also, right? What you're grateful for and whom you are grateful for, whom you are grateful to. Okay? So, everyone had opportunity to share what you're grateful for? Anyone who never got any chance to share? Please raise your hand. Okay, everyone shared something. So, how many of you feel yourself much more happy now? Very good, yeah. I can see that. Before, many of you kind of looked pretty morose. And now everyone's looking very blissful. So, any realizations you've got from sharing what you're grateful for? Yes, microphone.
Devotee association is very much necessary.
Sorry?
Devotee association very much necessary.
Okay, importance of devotee association, good. Anyone else? Anyone had any realization from doing that exercise?
I don't have to struggle with my basic material needs.
Okay, we don't have to struggle even with basic needs. Anyone else had any realization?
After hearing the reason for being grateful from the peer devotees, I was just reflecting like so many things to be grateful upon. It's just not few things which I mentioned. There are a lot of things we can be grateful for.
Okay, yeah, the list can be unlimited. It is true. And who is the main person you are grateful for? Grateful to? Krishna. Yes, everyone agrees?
Yes.
Because everybody else is just Krishna's instruments, right? Krishna is the main person we are grateful to. And any of you by any chance felt that Krishna has done so much for me and continues doing, and it would be nice to reciprocate with Krishna also? So how do you reciprocate with Krishna? by taking responsibility in his service. Which means, practically, sometimes we are doing what we ask to do, but there is much higher level of responsibility than that, which is doing the needed things even without being asked, right? So being intelligent enough to take initiative. And so also doing something substantial for pleasing Krishna, Guru and Vaishnavas. How many of you want to do something very substantial in life in Krishna's service? Yeah, you have potential for that. But what's the first and most important step in that? Sadhana. Sadhana we're already doing. But what else is first and foremost? Huh? Pray to Krishna? Faith in Krishna. That you already have. What else?
Serving under guidance.
Serving under guidance. That we already have too. Gratitude. Already have. To some extent. Action. But before action. Motivation. Desire. How desire manifests practically. Plan. Goal. Complacency comes due to the absence of goal, right? That you might achieve something and you feel that's good, that's enough, now I can enjoy. Basically, complacency is mentality of enjoyer, right? I'm already good, and so I don't need anything else in my life. But you may not need anything else, which is good. But Krishna needs a lot, and Guru needs a lot, and Vaishnavas need a lot, and the world needs so much. And why are you wasting your life trying to enjoy when the whole world is going to hell? And so you've been given so much, for what? For reciprocating with all these gifts and putting all these gifts to the proper use. And becoming a powerful achiever. You already achieved a lot of things, which is good. So that means you have this potential and you can achieve much more. And you can be a inspiring example for so many other people to follow in Krishna consciousness. How many of you want to be inspiring example for other devotees? So think of that, how that would look like. Because before you achieve the goal, you have to visualize the goal, right? Visualize this goal for yourself. Visualize what you want to achieve. Put it in writing on paper and then start working on that. because the purpose of life is very simple, is to be always blissful in Krishna consciousness. Actually, there are two words which describe the aim and purpose of life. And you will never be able to figure out what are these two words, what these two words are. Gora Nitai. Because Gora Nitai means Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri is Srimati Radharani. Krishna, we know who is Krishna, and Chaitanya means consciousness. So Srimati Radharani is the embodiment of absolutely pure Krishna consciousness. So Sri Krishna Chaitanya literally means pure Krishna consciousness. Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And what is the result of pure Krishna consciousness? Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda. Nityananda. What is Nityananda? Yeah. Eternal ecstasy. How many of you want to be eternally ecstatic? And what do you need for that? Sri Krishna Chaitanya and then Nityananda. So that's all you need. And in order to gain that, you need Advaita Acharya. Because Acharya means one who is teaching everyone by example. And Advaita means one who is not different from the Supreme Lord. Not in impersonal sense, but there is one type of union devotees should have with the Lord. Personal union. What kind of personal union? Oneness in what? In purpose. Yeah, think like Krishna, wish like Krishna, have the same desire like Krishna. And what is Krishna's desire? To take care of everyone, to make everyone happy. So, that's the solution. And the bigger goal you set for yourself, the more chances that you will never achieve that, which is good. It's a very strange statement. Why should I set myself goal which I would never be able to achieve? But this is what Narad Muni says. Tasaiva heta prayatata kovidu. Nalabhyata tad brahmata buddha uparyada. Really smart people, thoughtful people, they set goals for themselves which are not achievable in this world. Because Krishna and serving Krishna, it's all outside of this world. And Srila Prabhupada actually a prime example of that. You know, we are all thinking of Srila Prabhupada as, you know, not just one, but the greatest achiever of the 20th century. But anyone knows that Prabhupada would describe himself as a failure? Anyone knows that Prabhupada was telling his disciples towards the end of his life that he failed? You know what Prabhupada failed in? First purpose of ISKCON. He said, I failed in that. What is the first purpose of ISKCON? To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and teach all people the techniques of spiritual life in order to remove, I think, this balance of values in life and achieve real unity and peace in the world. He set himself this goal. Do we see real unity and peace in the world? No, not really. Was it there in Prabhupada times? No. So did Prabhupada achieve that? No. But did he achieve much? Tons of things, right? So many achievements. Even financially. I mean, that's something I picked up from Chopati devotees, that learning is meant for earning, right? If you are learning, but if you are not earning, what's the use of your learning? Right? And Prabhupada earned in the last 11 years of his life. Anyone knows how much? And that's calculated according to Prabhupada's personal statements. That one time, one reporter asked him, Swamiji, how much is your cult earning? And Prabhupada said, I am earning personally 860,000 US dollars a day. 160,000 US dollars a day. And that is 70s. Dollar was much stronger. So Prabhupada earned in the past 11 years of his life more than 3 billion US dollars. So even CNN listed him as one of the top achievers of the 20th century, one of the 10 top achievers of the 20th century, in the category of those who started their career very late, after 50. And Prabhupada was the oldest on the list. So even materialistic people acknowledge him as the greatest achiever. And how did he manage to achieve so much? Because he set himself unrealistic goal. And he worked like anything to try to achieve. Because he believed in this goal, which probably is possible to achieve. And should be, realized at some point of time, but it's extremely ambitious goal. It's much more ambitious than going back home, back to Godhead. Because real unity and peace in the world is the atmosphere of Goloka Vrindavan. So Prabhupada wanted to convert the whole material world into spiritual world, which is practically impossible, right? But Prabhupada's philosophy, that impossible is the word from Fool's Dictionary, right? In Krishna consciousness, there is nothing is impossible. So that's Prabhupada's mood. And if we want to be true Prabhupada's followers, we should set ourselves unachievable goals. Not totally unachievable, because Prabhupada set himself the goal because he really believed that he will have enough time to achieve that goal. Can you imagine? But even though he didn't fully achieve that goal, in the process of trying, he achieved so much, he is still glorified by everybody. So that's the model. And if you, target some huge goal, very difficult goal, you would have to work tirelessly your whole life, and you will never have any chance for being complacent. You will not have any time for that. You will be totally occupied by trying to achieve that. So what is this specific goal? I mean, Prabhupada gave us the framework, but it's really important, as Sureshwar Prabhu, he is teaching, that he says we have to define our goal within Prabhupada's goals, our mission within Prabhupada's mission, our personal mission. In which way we want to contribute to help Srila Prabhupada to achieve, to execute his mission. So, and then, how to do goal setting. I guess many of you already know this, right? How many of you are familiar with goal setting principles? Anyone's familiar? Anyone? If you are not familiar, just ask AI. It will give you all the tips. You can use AI for these purposes. In serving Krishna, you can use AI. Alright, so Hare Krishna. I hope it was useful and you got something from it. Maybe not fully according to your expectations, but something is better than nothing, as Prabhupada would say. So, Hare Krishna, I think we should be finishing here. If there are a couple of questions, we might try to answer. Otherwise, we can wish you all the best. Question? Yes, microphone. No. Questions here. After class, everyone's disoriented.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes. Thank you for so deep and inspiring session, and also helping us go deep into our own hearts to understand. I just felt that how important it is to think what we have received and to be very grateful, and that really gives us inspiration and energy to and come out of it that I need to reciprocate. I need to do so much for Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj, you were telling about the high goal, like we should keep a high goal which we can't achieve, and how Srila Prabhupada kept that. So we see the similar very intense enthusiasm, just like Srila Prabhupada in his ordinance in Indradam Swami Maharaj. So if you'd like to please share how Indradam Maharaj keeps high goal, and how he is always in such an advanced age, also always very enthusiastic. If you can share some of his pastime and his mission, which can help us also get enthusiasm.
Yeah, so Indradam Maharaj, his choice of personal mission within Prabhupada's mission is to introduce the culture of Krishna consciousness. So he's doing that through, cultural presentations, festivals, etc., as we know. And
conducted over 30 years, conducted so many festivals in Poland, and you might expect that, you know, the whole country should be Krishna conscious by now. But somehow it doesn't work as quickly as we wish it to work. But anyway, that we can see he continues with his service despite of you know, maybe not seeing such quick results. He's shifting now to Italy, wants to conduct the same kind of festival in Italy, and right now he's doing this festival in Rishikesh already for a few years. So it might mean planting seeds which may not immediately, you know, produce the results, but because he's doing what he really enjoys doing, and that's really the key. Because if you do something for results, for immediate results, it's not possible to continue, because results might not come immediately. But if you're doing something you enjoy doing anyway, results come or not come, you're not bothered, because you are already happy. And so yes, his secret is that he's doing what he really enjoys doing for Krishna, and it doesn't matter success or failure. As one of my friends, Patri Prabhu, you might know him, he says, either gain or loss, it's all up to Supreme. Both gain and loss, it's all up to the ultimate, to the Supreme Boss. Something like that. So whatever Krishna decides, whether gain or loss, as long as we are happy serving Krishna, it doesn't matter for us. And so yes, he is also engaging so many other devotees in those programs. Helps them advance in Krishna consciousness. And I can see over the years how his taste for getting absorbed in Krishna consciousness grows over the years, because he started this stimulations for ecstatic love series, you know, giving Krishna's pastimes, etc., describing Krishna. So that's very inspiring results of serving Krishna according to one's nature, because that's all we need. And of course there are so many people who benefit from his service, new people. They become attracted to Krishna consciousness by his cultural presentations and getting initiated and practicing Krishna consciousness seriously. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for so nice class. My question is, sometimes it happens, not sometimes, many times it happens that for surrendering our higher authorities, one who is looking us in spiritual life, now I become reluctant to surrender. Means I'm not able to surrender because of my some material desires or some other desires, which sometimes seems like this is spiritual desire. So by hearing from different devotees, I could understand that by performing daily sadhana, chanting, and lecture hearing, book reading, our heart will get purified and slowly it will come. But do I need to only depend on these things that chanting and lecture reading, book reading, sadhana will do, or do I need to put some other efforts also to develop the surrender mentality?
Prabhupada would say surrender does not mean you surrender your intelligence. So we have to surrender intelligently. It's like yesterday's purport. Enthusiasm means endeavor and intelligence. So, if we are endeavoring to surrender, that has to be done with intelligence. So that means if something our authorities are telling us is doubtful, then we have to clarify. It might be that we misunderstand how we are meant to surrender, or it might be that authority also can misunderstand. So that's why Tadviti Pranipatana Pariprasnana Savaya. So these three things, right? Pranipat means you approach, right? Or surrender. In some cases, Pranipat can also mean surrender. But then Pariprasna, then you ask questions. And by asking questions, you can clarify what your service should be and how your service should be. And once all the doubts are removed, then you can serve with your full capacity. Bhagavad Gita is a very nice example. That we can see that even though Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but still he allows Arjuna to question him in any ways, and patiently helps Arjuna to become free from all doubts. And once all the doubts are removed, then Arjuna says, Karishi Vachanuttava, now I am ready to do whatever you wanted me to do. So that's really important model for us in dealing with our authorities. Because authority is supposed to be Krishna's representative. And if authority demands blind surrender, that's not Krishna's model. Krishna never demands blind surrender, so Krishna wants our intelligent surrender. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, my question is, while doing the service, anger comes in management or in some service. So at that time, I convince my mind that this anger is good only. I'm using it in service of Krishna. But I also know that anger is younger brother of lust, Kamanuj. So is it good or bad, Maharaj?
Well, before we deal with this anger question, anyway, yeah, we can define. We can use anger in Krishna's service only as long as anger is not using us. So, devotional anger is motivated by love. And how do we understand? Do we have any examples of loving anger? Huh? Hanuman. Well, it's all in Shastra, but in life, we can see mother, yes. We can see those examples because Prabhupada said mother's love is the closest to pure love, right? In imitation love. So, say a child wants to do something which would be very harmful, like touching the fire or something. What the mother would do? Just scream and shout at the child, right? Display the anger. But the anger is motivated by love. So if our anger is Krishna conscious anger, its motivation should be love, to benefit the person. But material anger is to, my own sense gratification, and whatever stands in the way of my sense gratification. If someone, disturbs my sense gratification, then I become angry. So that's material anger. So, and if this is material anger, then yes, this is kamanuj. So that should be avoided. You should become free from that.
Maharaj, while management anger comes, so does it material or spiritual? Because at that time it comes in like he is not obeying me. So
Yes, it depends if I want to benefit that person or if I want to benefit myself. If I want to benefit myself, it's material. If I want to benefit that person, then it's spiritual. Even Srila Prabhupada would remember how his father would punish him sometimes, right? For misbehavior, because he was very naughty in his childhood. And mother could not always control him, and she would ask Gaur Mohan, please do something with Abhay. But he would actually sit with Abhay and would tell him, it's my duty as a father, I have to discipline you, otherwise you will not grow properly trained. So even Jagannath Mishra had to discipline Lord Chaitanya when he was a child. So I have to discipline you, please don't mind. And even though it was punishment, Prabhupada remembers it as loving reciprocation. So that's a good example of using love, using anger in Krishna's service.
thank you.
Hare Krishna. Alright, so Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. All the best with setting yourself ambitious goals in serving Guru Krishna and Vaishnavas and achieving those goals. And I'll be looking forward next time to hear about your achieving those goals, because you have huge capacity, so don't just waste it for nothing. Use it properly in Prabhupada's mission, and bless me that I could also do the same with my life. And we'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Rantaraj Srimad Bhagwatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
So we are so thankful to Maharaj. Maharaj come here, and Maharaj is such busy schedule, but Maharaj took our day for us. And this yesterday and today, Maharaj has been such valuable revelations and grounding us and uplift in the spiritual vibration. And we're so grateful to you, Maharaj, for that. For blessing us. It has been so special. We're feeling so uplifted. And your directions and such clear, chanting 3 times. And Maharaj, we earnestly request you to please bless us again and again. We are, yes, we'll be ready with some reports. We'll come next time.
So once I hear number of you achieving your high goals and transforming the whole, place and your lives, and I'll definitely come back to see you again. So it's not free for all. You have to work hard to get senior devotees come more often to see you. You have to achieve something substantial.
His Holiness Bhakti Rasayan Sagar Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.